What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, it is the 11th day of May. Here we are at about 18.8 cents, a little bit below there. 8 hours, 35 minutes left in the day. We have a wick below us. This is good looks, I think. I think this is a good look right here. Most of this candle is a wick. A little bit of it looks like a body. Bitcoin looks like it wants to move up by the end of the day. I think Cookie DAO might follow suit. It's really nice because right here what you have, at least the appearance of over the last like 3 days now, is the appearance of a double top. But this double top is not double topping, is it? It's not really. We're kind of just chilling up here. And I think this actually more implicates that we are going to move higher, and I really do believe that we will move higher here pretty soon. For if we were to move lower, I think we would have done it already. Double tops aren't really too forgiving. It's like a double bottom right here, low there, a little double bottom action. You didn't stay. You didn't linger. When you started lingering, in fact, that's when you broke through, right? Double bottom, tweezer bottom, you didn't stay. You moved up immediately. Let's see if we can find an example of this. I don't know. I mean, one low here, you lingered, but you didn't know yet. You didn't have like your double bottom there. Here you had a double bottom. Right, this was your second low. You're just there for 2 days, and then the third day you ripped up. Right, that's kind of that behavior that you would anticipate. This, unless we get some kind of rejection in the next 8 hours and 34 minutes, I don't think this looks like a double top to me. I think this looks. I mean, it looks like a double top, yes, but it doesn't. I don't think it's behaving like one, and I think that certainly we will get different behavioral results as a result of this. If we're looking at this on the daily time frame, looking at the RSI here, we do have higher highs here on a closing basis, a lower high here, so higher highs overall, higher high right there, high here, lower highs in the RSI. That is bearish divergence, but the thing is that bearish divergence has already resolved itself already. We've already seen the price go below where the divergence formed. It even went to the lows of that day itself. I don't know what more you want. Really, I think what we're doing here is consolidating just below the overbought zone, ready to pierce through it and see some higher readings. That's kind of the expectation. If we're looking at this on a 1 hour time frame here, volumes coming into the upside, no volumes coming into the downside at all. We're getting lower lows in the RSI. We're getting slightly higher lows, if not just basically at the same closing level there in the price. But that is a form of hidden bullish divergence. The 1 hour RSI is pretty neutral looking, but with a bullish tilt to it. It definitely does have a bullish tilt to it. It wouldn't surprise me if by the end of the day we closed back above 19 cents, and it really wouldn't surprise me by the end of the day if we were even above these prices here, above 20 cents, and potentially working our way to even higher prices than that. Inevitably, we will be working higher prices. I have a feeling that this week's going to be good for Cookie and for a lot of cryptos. From a high to a low, from the high back in January 10th there, all the way up at 84 cents to the low that happened on April 7th, down there at about 7 cents. We're consolidating right above the 382. This is a very positive look, very positive maneuver, and oftentimes you do just run right through to your golden ratio. And sometimes even, and actually, let me rephrase that. Oftentimes, the golden ratio provides resistance on the first attempt. This will be your first attempt. But there are moments where you tear through the golden ratio and you find resistance at the 786 or the 886 instead. Something in this area or just right there at that baseline. Just because I'm drawing it as an area, don't get your hopes up. That doesn't mean we're going to go all the way to the top. We really could stop right at the base. We could even miss the line just a little bit, and that's still a 786 point of resistance. You know what I mean? So, these moments where we tear through the golden ratio, they're oftentimes accompanied by very strong consolidation around the 382, which I would call this strong consolidation. You've got a double top look. You're at prior areas of support that could provide resistance, but you're not rejecting down. You didn't hit your 236. That's a very common sign of strong consolidation. When you hit your 382, oftentimes you do pull back to your 236, and then you work your way up. So seeing movement patterns like this or this kind of behavior, it's not completely indicative that we're going to tear through the golden ratio and just go right up to this zone, or at the very least the base of this zone. It's not completely indicative, but it is one of the signals that we look for to consider breaking through the golden ratio on the first attempt. And I think it's possible. Here we are at 18 and a half cents now. Likely going to go to at least 32.5 cents, if not at the most 63.5 cents, or more probably somewhere in between. My money, if I had to guess, we might do this weird thing. I've actually noticed this too. This is something else that I've noticed over the past 2 weeks, is that a lot of cryptos have been breaking through their golden ratio, but they will reach for their 786 and they will just miss it. They'll stop in this zone here, which is not common, but it's been common lately. And when personality traits are running rampant, whenever it becomes like a fad or a phase that the whole market's going through, oh, this coin did it, so I'm going to do it. It seems like it's that kind of attitude. So I am considering that we could find resistance below the 786, and that kind of makes sense, because if we look at this here, you have support right here, right there, right? Prior support. You have prior resistance right there in that same area, right there at about 40 cents. 40 cents. That's in between the 6.9 and the 7.86. Maybe you do stop right at the top of the 6.9. Maybe that's exactly where you stop. Perhaps you pierce through and you stop somewhere in this zone. But there's a lot of reasons to find resistance. I would say between about 32 cents to, if we're being completely fair, 46 cents. I don't know if we make our way all the way up to 49 cents, but it's a possibility. And certainly 60 cents should still be considered, and inevitably we're going to get there. But for this next phase up, right, you had to move up here, and then you consolidated. You had to move up here, and then you consolidated. Then you had to move up here, and then you consolidated. And this is the largest consolidation phase that we've had throughout this whole movement here. I think this next move is going to be rather spectacular. It's going to be bigger than anything we've seen in months. Literally, it's going to be bigger than anything we've seen since last year in 2024. I think it's going to be spectacular, and it will take us up in a very short amount of time to 32.6 cents, 39 cents, and beyond. That's what I think is going on here. Whenever we get into the overbought zone, when we actually get into it, we're not just dancing with it, flirting with it like this. I think that will allow us, that'll open up some momentum to the upside as well. If we're looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour right here, the RSI, oh yeah, again, we already looked at this. Yeah, it's bullish. It is bullish. Neutral with a bullish tilt, but the price is neutral, but definitely with a bullish tilt to it. 29 minutes left in this 1 hour candle. What about the 15-minute time frame? Yeah, bullish. I think it looks bullish. I'm not a big fan of the volume, but that's okay. It's the weekend. I'm not going to hold it against you. What about the 4 hour time frame? 4 hour lower lows, tied up, hidden bullish divergence. Overall, the 4 hour looks good. Looks ready to rock and roll, honestly. So if not by the end of today, over the coming days, certainly this next week, which we're about to close this week out, 8 hours, 30 minutes from now, we're about to close this week out. So I think that over this next week, we are going to see this move. It's going to be spectacular. It will literally be something bigger than anything that we've seen so far. And yeah, that's kind of my expectations. Afterwards, whenever it comes time for like how far this move will progress overall, my expectations are that from here, Cookie will achieve prices at a minimum of $1.65, but I don't think that we stop there. At a maximum, and maybe it's a maximum, who knows? It could go, you never know. Things can get crazy. Maybe we do run all the way up to $10 or $7, but I doubt it. My expected maximum would be something on the lines of like a 21x, but I kind of doubt that we stop there. I would most anticipate that we stop somewhere just above about $2.35, which would be roughly about a 13x from here. That's the expectation. 13x, 15x, something between like 235 and 285, let's say, something in that area. That's what I'm anticipating, and I expect that to happen by the end of June, if not very early July, some point in July there. But I am thinking it'll happen by the end of June. If I'm correct, then we should, by the end of this month of May, we should be sizably higher. We should be, pressing that 50 cent area, if not 60 cent area, something like that, and then getting ready for that final phase up in June, whatever that might look like. And if we're not at 50 cents by the end of this month, that doesn't mean that these targets are forgone. It's just, that would mean that we have a lot of catching up to do if they are to come true. You know what I mean? I would say that if we're not at least at 50 cents by the end of this month, $1.65 becomes the more probable stopping point. But even there, which I don't think that we stop there, at least not as of now, that's still about a 9x, which will outperform most of the market largely. So I think Cookie DAO's in a good position, even at a minimum value, to outperform the rest of the markets. I have a hard time seeing this thing, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I have a hard time seeing this go from a high here at 84 cents all the way down to this low here, 91% drop. I have a hard time seeing you stop at your minimum target during our first real alt rally, alt season of the entire bull market. You know what I mean? So I think that we will continue to grow. I think that it will break $1.65, 235, 285. That's my personal target. If we go higher, that'd be cool. I mean, hell, man, if we're at $1.65 by the end of May, maybe it's time to start considering $7.50 to $10. But again, I just think that that's a bit crazy. We'll get there when we get there. Inevitably, we will get there, and we will see higher prices. But that's all I got for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.